You're good.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
I'm doing good. How
We're
are
doing
you?
all right.
Well, look, there are people here that we weren't expecting.
Yes, new people.
Hey,
We,
new people.
we have an amazing crossover with the American Loser podcast. With
And note, this was 1 year in the making. So
this was 1 year in the making.
That's right.
So,
It was not
so
mine.
my good friend KP and you and our other good friend Larry.
Dad.
Dad. Well,
KP and Dad.
normally we would say Dilf, but maybe we'll put that aside for the current conversation.
We're on our best behavior.
We're on our
tonight,
best
we
behavior.
promise you.
And we have
change.
Max. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Max.
Yes. And you want to give any introductory statement?
That and I like history.
You like history too.
I
A
heard
perfect
something
match.
about
There you
that.
go.
And Dina, would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay, everyone already knows my name, but anyway, I'm the best twin and the best child.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, them fighting words. And
fuck, Matt.
and
Fighting words.
and obviously behind the ones and twos we have the big Kahuna.
You mean the actual best child?
Exactly.
You're wrong.
So
Biggest-
I'll mute your mic.
so
Please do that. A big kahuna.
so basically what happens is we have a saying in our family that everything works out for the Greenbergs.
Oh, yes,
and
it
in
does.
fact
It
today it actually did. And we had a visit at the Secret Stash.
Oh yes,
And
the
we-
Neo stash.
the Neo
It did
stash.
not disappoint.
It did not.
I also found my birthday gift there.
Yes,
There
exactly.
you go.
Yes, we
It's haunted.
Get 'em Steve Dave showed Max a replica of the Super Bowl ring,
Oh yes,
and we're going to go on to the web and get that.
yes. It's like $19 a ring. So
Okay, well,
Hang on, a comic book store selling Super Bowl rings?
Well, no,
Yeah.
you have to go to the website. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What
it takes like
happened?
3 weeks
Okay.
to ship, unfortunately.
It's double secret stash.
It's double secret. What happened is, Get 'em Steve Dave purchased it for Walt because Walt and Max share a love of what is Tom Brady?
Yes, we
Yes,
do.
Okay, it's not actually the team that you love.
No.
No.
Him for some
Okay,
reason.
Yes.
so so you're
Better than
basically
your quarterback.
basically you're a traitor to the Patriots
Hey,
because you
hey,
follow Tom
I
Brady.
keep an eye on them. I think Mac Jones is gonna be good.
Okay.
Good, and I
Don't
don't.
believe a single word he says. He's a
Oh.
bad liar.
Okay, and
He's a good liar.
and-
No, he's not.
He
Just mute
bad
her,
stuff.
please.
and that is the sum total of all the sports knowledge I have. We're gonna have to leave it with Max. So
Yeah.
so basically, what happened is we are on a staycation this week. We're spending time together, the three of us.
Nice.
And we were going to have episode 13 of the Stu'ing It podcast. By the way, I'm Stu Greenberg.
If you, in
and-
case if you couldn't tell
in
already.
case you couldn't tell. And we were going to have our good friend TV's Ming Chen be our sound engineer.
But he was filming today.
Well, that's what we understand. So, but we are not at liberty to say exactly what, but people can probably figure it out.
Yeah, I don't
so.
think people are that dumb.
So that being said, we found out that KP and Larry would be in the studio before us, and through only about 40 or 50 texts, we figured out how to do this.
We
And,
have a crossover episode.
and we have a crossover episode, and I thought that it would be particularly appropriate because we've been trying to do this, as Max said, for quite a while. So before we get
I
into...
don't believe you
You don't believe me on what, Dina?
that you've been trying to do this for a while.
Oh, we have.
no.
I got
We
DMs
tried
to
this.
prove
We
it.
Oh,
tried
we've-
this on
we've got
the-
receipts.
We've
got receipts.
And also, as we were saying before we started the podcast up.
No vulgar language.
No, yes, we
This is
said
a
that.
family-friendly podcast.
Yes, but
Man, all right, I'll see you
I
guys
just
later.
want-
We'll keep that upmost in mind.
our main goal here is to really tick Nick Franco off, who I have now proven to be the #1 American Loser Patreon podcast supporter by grabbing these guys. So
You hear that, Franco? Do you hear that?
Nick
All right.
Franco, the gauntlet has been thrown down, and I fully expect Nick to be getting into his car and speeding down here from Bergen County to join us.
That's
Retaliation and
debatable.
reprisal is close at hand.
Exactly.
Max.
Exactly.
You really
Well,
suck.
as always,
So-
that's debatable.
That's it, you know? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So before we start, one of
We have
the
we have a message from our sponsor.
well, no, one of the things that we want to cover, because this is very important. Max and Dina are going to have their bar and bat mitzvah in October, which is it's the Jewish transition to adulthood. So in November, get a job.
That's right.
So
sorry.
Collecting
John
rent
Exactly.
November 1st.
I could be a sound guy.
Bye.
exactly. So what Max, do you want to talk about what your mitzvah project is, your charity project?
Yes, I would. For our charity project, we will be taking good food, not expired food, but food that's pretty much eatable, and we are going to donate that to people who can't have food on their tables. Well, so far we have already donated 63 pounds of food.
Wow.
Nice.
So
Our goal is 100 pounds of food. We are 47 pounds away. So.
Over 100, actually.
No, we're not.
If we can get it over 100.
I am
Yeah.
also 47 pounds away from a goal, guys. All right?
so
Very cool, though.
well, we're
So
all in
Dean-
this together.
Dina,
Ew,
Dina,
Max.
do you want to speak about the project? What what we're doing?
So we can either pick it up or you can drop it off at our house.
Okay, so basically, for those listening, you can contact either me or Max or Dina's mom and figure out how to drop off food. We're also accepting monetary donations, which we'll give
Yeah.
to the local food bank as
So
well.
they can buy food and donate that to people who can't have food.
Exactly.
So it all works out in the end.
It all works out in that. So we just wanted to reiterate, we already got a great start to it, but since we have this opportunity and now we have the the Bleed
you go.
Over American Loser podcast
We can get
audience, we really can get some charity going.
Let's hope
We'll figure out a
Absolutely,
way, man. No, this is
absolutely.
actually cool. I like what you guys. Now, is that common? Because I grew up,
Kind of.
so it's common to do mitzvah projects.
Oh, yeah, you have to do it.
Yes,
Ah.
it's the law.
It's not.
It's the law.
It's not the law, but you have to do
It's part of the process where
Yeah.
where basically you're moving from being just a kid to having more responsibility and being more aware of the society around you. So it's just a way to kind of move from being a kid to having a better idea of what's going on in the world.
Right. Being,
And
getting
and-
away from self-centered and a little more community-minded.
Thank you, Larry. Exactly. And at one point in time, I think we were talking about what was it? Cleaning up the beach. And
Oh yeah,
we were talking
that
about
failed.
that didn't work out so well.
Yeah.
And then we also were talking. There was something with horses. We were,
Oh, yeah. You could take care of horses.
yeah. Well,
But I didn't want to touch horses because I don't like horses.
then that wouldn't have been a good mitzvah project. So,
No,
Right.
so
I
we
Funny
fig-
one, but
we-
not a
we-
cool one.
We figured, what the heck, the horses probably are okay. Let's help the people out. So,
Right.
I like that.
That's
one.
great.
so
I know in my former life as a school teacher, we would also have food collections type of thing. And I know the food bank that we were dealing with would also accept gift cards to local supermarkets that were, very much welcomed at the same time. So it wouldn't necessarily have to be a cash donation.
Exactly.
It could be
Exactly.
a gift card to a ShopRite or whatever the local supermarket would be for the clientele that you're trying to reach.
I'm sure that would work as well. So, like I said, we're trying to do it now. We have 2 more months to go, and we've already made a lot of progress. And
Yes, we did.
okay,
If I might make a suggestion, you might want to contact your local food bank and find out what items they're most in need of.
Oh,
Yeah, we already did that.
You did that?
Yeah.
And so what
Get
I'll,
with the times, Larry.
Oh,
what I will do is we posted the list a while back.
Yeah.
Now that we've re-announced it here today on the podcast, I will add both to my personal Facebook page and to the Stu'ing It page the list of the items we're looking for.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, we just wanted to, everything is all fun and games, but this is an important project we're working on.
Sure.
Yeah, it is.
Especially
I
these.
gotta ask one question if I can. And please pardon me. I'm just a nice Irish boy from North Jersey. I don't know too much.
Okay.
All right. So it's it's a combined project of the two of them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right,
because
so-
we're twins.
Both going. So hang on. One of you owes us another project. I'm thinking.
No, that's not how it works.
I'm not sure. Which one of you's taking credit here?
I am. I was the one that suggested
Both hands
it.
went up pretty fast.
No.
No,
Tie.
no,
you were the one that
no.
suggested
And,
bacon.
and
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
and
You were the ones that suggested baking for the
I
older
certainly
people.
appreciate.
I didn't.
Thank you. Thank you,
I said
KP.
feeding children.
I'm in trouble.
Dina.
I'm sorry.
Thank
I
you.
didn't mean to do it.
Okay.
Talk about stirring the pot.
Yeah, stirring the pot, banging the pot, and throwing out the window.
Oh, God.
But in any case, so what
Well,
happened?
throwing it off an 8-foot
what,
story.
what happens
Oh.
now is what I think, because we all, each of us have an interest in history. Maybe what we could do.
Except this one.
Well, no,
No,
Dina,
I like
you.
ancient China.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
you did.
Well, why
I
don't
forgot
Dina,
about that.
Now we're gonna broaden the horizon from
I like it.
America because Dina, what is your favorite period of history?
Ancient China, because I liked the ruler that thought he couldn't die and then drank mercury, which killed him.
He thought
Wow.
he couldn't die.
one way
That's
to
a
do
tough
it.
way of proving it.
Do you remember his name?
It was
It was
Emperor
Shi Shin
Thermometer.
Handi.
no. Oh, she won the
Yes.
Yeah.
Emperor
Shi Handi.
Mercury. Oh wait.
1D.
So you found
the
that
first emperor of China. That's his name in English.
you found that to be an interesting period,
Yeah.
just because.
It was only because my teacher made me do an assignment on it and all the inventions.
Teachers.
Yeah,
Yep.
I didn't really like
You
it.
said it,
Forcing you to
Larry.
learn
You
stuff.
said it.
And then
Yeah.
trick you into liking it.
I'm,
Said it.
so
Look at
is
this
there
man.
any?
Man,
Is there
there's
anything?
no way he could have been a teacher.
Is there anything else
There's
about
no way at all.
Max, stop talking.
Okay, fine.
Dina? Is there anything about that period of history that you would like to talk about?
No.
No. Well, thank you for sharing. I appreciate you sharing.
Yep, thank you.
Max,
Next. Okay.
Max, you have numerous.
Oh, yes.
Can you tell us about some of your
Oh,
favorite
yes.
areas of history?
Yes, one of my top 2 favorite periods of history. These are American history.
There you go. There you go. Bringing it home. Bringing it home.
I want everybody to know that my dad is charming and Max is charming.
No,
and I can
our
only
dad
hope to live up to it.
Our grandfather is super duper duper patriotic.
Yes, he
Yeah,
is.
He thinks everyone's part of the militia.
Okay.
I think
So,
I think
okay.
I killed a big coon over here.
I like it,
No, Max,
Okay.
you made him cry. You made him cry.
Tears of laughter,
Okay.
folks.
Okay, Max. So do you wanna elaborate, and hopefully we won't kill the big Kahuna, but you want to continue to describe your favorite historical periods?
Yes, my number 2 favorite historical period is the golden age of piracy. It very much interests me.
Nice.
And
Yes.
my number 1 favorite time of history was the that one, westward expansion.
The westward expansion.
Yes.
So okay.
This is a sophisticated palette for 2 young
Yeah,
people.
it was
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
we were
Yeah.
literally just talking about that.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So for me, what I like is I'm interested in 2 areas. One, I think it's very interesting, the whole Revolutionary War period.
Ew.
And you don't care for that.
No, it sucked.
Okay.
Hated it.
Hated it.
I didn't like my third
in
grade
fact,
teacher.
in fact, pre the COVID situation, I was thinking that maybe Max and I could be happy and Dina would be miserable by going to Colonial Williamsburg.
Oh, that would be a
No, I
great
don't wanna do
idea.
that.
That would have been
You
a
don't
great
wanna-
idea.
No.
No, well,
I'll go. That sounds awesome.
Well,
Yeah,
Okay, let's
I'm
go.
there.
Okay.
Been there, done that,
And-
but I'll go again.
And then the other,
I've never
the other area I'm interested I think is especially interesting is the Civil War, just because in terms of just the magnitude of what happened, and how even if you consider just around us how there were major activities happening, and it's just
And then the U.S. could have been ended, but they chose not to just end.
and I
And
also
what would have
like-
been a major powerhouse in the globe today.
and okay. And what were you saying, Dina?
I also like ancient Greece and Rome.
that's a good
very
one.
interesting.
I also learning
I'm also
Latin
taking
this
Italian.
year.
What's
I'm
that?
taking Italian.
Okay.
I'm taking
So-
Latin.
Okay.
That's what they spoke at ancient Rome.
No one cares.
What
Okay.
about can I ask a follow-up? Is that all right?
Yes, please.
So you like the Greek stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, is it because I grew up, I got really hooked on the Greek mythology. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
So is there something you like about that whole story? Because
Yeah, that's cool.
I got
The
hooked on
Romans
her.
copied them.
Very much so. Total ripoff. They were a cover
Plagiarism.
band. Rome was a cover band.
Plagiarism.
So what?
They also
what-
copied them in the Greek statues too.
Yes.
Is
they
there
did.
is there a
They
particular?
they pretty much Rome did conquer Greece at one point.
Okay, we know.
Okay, is there a particular myth that is particularly interesting to you?
Medusa.
Medusa. I
That's
knew you were
funny.
going to say
I
that.
get it. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, and I imagine tonight at
She's
some
funny.
point around like 3:00 in the morning, I'm going to hear the pitter patter of feet while you're thinking about Medusa, right? Well,
That's the one with the
that
hair of
bad.
snakes,
the
right?
snake-
Yeah.
snake hair.
And if you look at her, you turn into like
Stone.
stone. Yeah.
Stone, yeah.
And you die.
And I don't remember who it was, but someone was for someone. I don't remember who it was, but they wanted to. I don't remember what, but they had to go to the Medusa's cave and kill her.
Well,
And he
I
did.
think it was Perseus. Could have been Perseus. Well, I
Yes.
don't remember which hero it was, but he polished his shield to a
Yeah,
a mirror
correct.
finish, and
His
he
eyes.
Oh.
backed into it and kind of stabbed backwards until he hit Medusa. So
It
so-
was Perseus. So people always confuse Theseus or whatever. He was the one who
Theseus?
he fought the Minotaur, I think. So good call that you knew that one.
okay, good.
Excellent. You
I
guys are batting
also-
1,000 here. This is
I know.
solid.
Oh, I
So-
also know the one where there's a myth, and these pirates went on a boat, and they found the myth, and they killed it.
Aha, Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah.
What's that one about? Huh?
you don't
Tell me more.
That's
He said pirates, and his ears picked
Yeah,
up.
there
Right? He perked up on pirates.
well. If I could also ask another follow-up, then I'm not trying to hijack. I'm just fascinated because these guys know some stuff.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
You actually underplayed them.
I would say that's probably impossible.
That's. Well, Matt, so you said pirates earlier. Do you have a favorite pirate?
That's tough.
Oh yeah, he loves
Hey. Me,
I know a pirate. Her name, it was
Don't
Joan.
say Johnny Depp.
Yeah, it was Johnny Depp. No, it's Joan, and she had to go to. She was a pirate, and she was hired by someone, and she went somewhere and conquered a whole city.
Who was that now?
Joan. I learned that in like 5th grade.
Joan the pirate.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
It was the first woman pirate.
That was Anne Bounty.
Well,
Annie
that was-
Bonny.
yes,
I know who
Annie
you're talking
Bonny,
about.
there you go.
Yeah.
Annie
Yeah,
Bonny.
that was the first. That was the most famous one of all of them.
okay, well, I
Well-
think she was hired by Spain or something like that.
Oh, she must
Well,
have
I
been
mean-
a privateer then.
Yeah. Well, Max, what's a privateer?
The heck is
I'm
that?
glad you asked it, Dad.
There you
Daddy.
go. Let me tell you about privateer.
Privateer was a pirate hired by a government. They were given this thing like a letter mark, like this. And if you want more of these, you want to hear more about these American lizard bats, just stick around to the end of the podcast.
Is he doing a merch plug in the middle? This is.
Nice work.
All right,
Yes,
listen.
Smooth transition.
Your
there.
dad says you got to get a job after this mitzvah thing. I hope you're coming on board the show. All right.
I will. And they pretty much said that I have this, so you can't attack me. So they pretty much got to pretty much go and do pirate things, and they couldn't get arrested doing it.
It was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what's happened sometimes is that they will be given a letter from the government that they were working for, but then the two governments might have a treaty or something.
Treaty, and then the letter would be a money.
They had no idea that sides changed or the rules changed, and now
They
who was
am,
the enemy is now their ally, and
Yeah.
things really got confusing because There was no texting one
Yeah,
another.
no Wi-Fi out there in
Yeah.
in the
No.
middle of the Atlantic.
Wi-Fi's
Right.
everything.
Or in the Caribbean.
Uh-oh.
So
I think the mall's closing.
I don't think so.
It is. Everyone just left.
Okay, well, we'll
Oopsies.
figure that out. So now, we've talked
Oh, no,
about
there's one
our favorite historical periods, and obviously,
What are your favorite historical
I've been
periods?
listening for 3 years, and it's far ranging. But I don't think anyone has ever asked you if you have a particular favorite period. I'm not sure. In all my diligent 3 years of listening, if
He was a day one, by the way.
I-
Yeah, absolutely.
Him and Nick
Absolutely.
Franco just going at it.
Yeah.
Day
I
one
can-
champions.
I can remember meeting Stu for the first time at the Christmas party.
Oh, I
That's
remember that. I
right.
met you two for the Christmas
that's
party.
right.
yeah.
That's right.
Hey, so that means I'm an original too, huh?
No.
That's
You're
You
original.
suck.
I got it.
Okay.
Where did some of the big
So
kahuna
so
go?
why don't we
Outside
why
to
don't we
cry.
why don't we listen to
God.
what our colleagues, well, our friends say. So KP, do you have a particular historic period that especially interests you, or is your favorite?
so you guys talked about some cool ones there because you guys both said stuff that goes all the way back in history,
Yeah,
right?
I was laughing to myself when they were
All the
chiming
way
in
back.
on to their favorites.
Oh yeah. So that's stuff that goes way, way back, which is super fun to read about. The craziest stuff I ever read about was I'd be reading about this thing called World War II.
Oh yes, that's another good
And
one.
then my mom would say, "Oh, your grandfather fought in that." And then Grandpa Marty's busting out dog tags
Yeah.
and medals and books and pictures of him fighting in the war in Europe. And you're like, "Why is history here at Grandma's house? What's happening? It's supposed to be in a library."
Yeah, living
And it blew
history.
my mind. Yeah, that's probably the thing. That and the Civil War, the two things that got me the most passionate about this. And then as an adult, it got more boring and laid back. But
Well,
World War II sucks.
that's
It was
very
really
interesting, and we had a side conversation when I think there was you had talked about the flu pandemic of like 1918, and before the flu pandemic, the Spanish flu of 1918
Oh.
was the polio.
Oh, our great grandfather had it. That's great. They were gonna
Exactly.
kill him on the
E- e-
roof. They were gonna
exactly.
leave him on the roof. That's what Grandma said.
So why don't we go into this? What
Yes,
happened is
children, sit around, grab a nice tall glass of iced tea, and join us for some story time on Stu'ing It.
exactly,
Yeah,
Max.
This is
Thank you.
G-rated.
So what? But to go along with your story about your grandpa and World War II in terms of my grandfather, their great grandfather was born in 1913, and when he was 3 years old, it was the polio epidemic, and what happened is that he contracted polio, and he was in the hospital, and there were so many deaths. Sounds familiar.
Yep,
Right.
it does.
So
gonna
what happens
be
is
them on
is
the
that
roof.
they thought
Hey, spoiler.
they thought that he had passed away, and the morgue was full, and they ended up putting bodies on the roof.
oh boy.
And,
Wow.
and his mom, my great grandmother, their great
Great-grandmother.
grandmother, wouldn't accept it, and she went up on the roof and
Grabbed him and left.
well, no. She looked around and she saw him, and he had polio, so he was paralyzed, but he was crying, and
Wow.
so she starts screaming, and
Weren't there, like,
and
guards?
the guard said to her, "You really want there to be trouble? Keep screaming," and actually they managed to grab him and pull him out of there. And what happened is that in my lifetime, my grandfather always walked with a cane. One leg was shorter than the other. He had special shoes. But I mean, that is a historical event that from
Oofa.
more than 100 years ago.
Wow.
And that directly impacts my grandfather, my mom, me, and the kids, and all of this is because my great grandmother, their great great grandmother was pretty tough and wouldn't put up with it.
Wouldn't take no for an
and
answer.
can you imagine going through the roof and the horrible scene she had to deal with?
I probably couldn't, to be honest. That's where you
I'd
try to put yourself
probably
in their shoes a
puke.
little
Yeah.
bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That's
So
tough.
yeah, so I mean, but that's an interesting point. Now, Larry, do you have a particular historical period that?
I would probably say the Revolutionary War and
Yeah.
the Civil War.
Like me. So
Well, yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with, in my childhood, my mother and my aunt and my grandmother were famous for Thursday was shopping day.
okay,
And my aunt was the only one who drove at that particular point in time. So she would take my mother and my grandmother, and the three of them would go off shopping. Well, as a small child, guess who's coming along? Because you wouldn't leave somebody, wouldn't leave a child at home. And then that kind of morphed into they would go on day trips to various historical sites, and I was dragging along and just developed an interest in it, and started reading some of the books that were like pre-revolutionary, Drums Along the Mohawk and that type of thing, with the frontier and what was the frontier at that time. So, getting back to Kevin's story, when I can remember the day when his grandfather was talking about some of his experiences in the Second World War.
Yeah.
And I'm an adult sitting at the same dining room table at his grandmother's house. His grandfather is retelling some of these experiences that he had in the Second World War. And his wife, his grandmother, is like, "Marty, you never told me that,"
Yeah.
And they're like, and I, as an adult, could kind of see that, the World War II veterans, when they came back, oftentimes were very closed-mouthed about their experiences because of the horrific situations that they were
Exactly.
placed in. But now he is much older and realize, you can kind of sense that he's coming to the realization that here's his grandson asking about his experiences, and if he doesn't say it now, if he doesn't kind of open up to some of his experiences that he had, they're never going to be heard. So that's why,
You make me cry in this podcast, I'm going to pop you. All right?
That's why his
I'm gonna be
grandmother
on
was
the
like,
other side of the room when that happens.
Marty, you never told me that. And well, yeah, because, he was kind of keeping it bottled up. So that was a turning point, I think, in Kevin's history. And I had similar experiences with that, not going back to the Revolutionary War, but I had uncles that went through the same, similar experiences. My brothers and I would go to various relatives' houses for holidays and stuff, and go in Uncle Dan's house. You never really knew what type of Uncle Dan you were going to experience,
Yeah.
because
Wild dudes.
it could be meek and mild and quiet
Yeah.
and happy-go-lucky, or it could go other way. That we now come to know that was post-traumatic stress disorder that he was
Exactly.
going through, because if you're a tail gunner in a B-17 during the Second World War,
yeah,
now I'm getting choked
I'll
up.
tell you guys, here's the best part of the story on this one. So B-17 gunners, you guys know what those are? Big planes,
Big
World War
planes,
II?
you have turn up front,
Dude knows his stuff.
there, planes come up, they
I'm-
have AA guns, and they would just try and
should
shoot
be
them down.
scared.
I'm telling you,
Down.
third seat. There you go.
Yeah.
History Max it
Greenberg.
is.
Yeah.
So you guys would like this then. B-17 tail gunner. This was my uncle. He was on that, and so my great uncle, I should say. And the story, I think I'm telling it right, and we're going to go for brevity's sake here, so we don't hijack their show. But
This is story time, so please go ahead.
so they would go to the boardwalk, and the games at the boardwalk where you're playing with the water gun, you shoot it in the clown's mouth, and they race.
yeah.
So another form of that would be like this: the little gun would shoot like nails or something like that, and you would have to shoot the outside of a star.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to shoot the star out in the center.
I know that one.
Yeah.
Fresh out of B-17 tail gunning school, I think Uncle Dan was asked to leave because he was winning all the prizes.
I have to tell you that my dad and their Grandpa Eddie,
Fought in the
I have to give, Grandpa Eddie
Credit.
major props, because when I was a child, when I was a kid, we would go target shooting. So I mean, and I never had toy guns because we actually shot.
Had real guns.
We had real,
and we still do somehow.
well, Grandpa has.
Yeah, we don't have
We
them.
don't have them.
I
So-
have Nerf
but-
blasters.
Well,
There you go.
you
We
have
actually
you
have real guns.
You have Nerf blasters at Mom's house. That's another story.
Right,
But
right.
any,
They're
so,
original
but,
collectibles
but,
break
but
in.
what happens is you talk about that water balloon game. I am extremely good at that game, and they were like,
Because of
I'd
him.
like to place a
Because
bet
of
that I
him.
can beat you in that game.
well, next we will try that next time we're on the boardwalk. But that is something because I remember, shooting with my dad and practicing that when I was a child. That I'm very good at that water gun game because I know how to.
The
Our
arcades
grandfather used to make
can't
us
fool us
shoot bow and
now.
arrows.
He didn't make you shoot
Yeah.
bow and arrow.
But now I'm really good at it.
Yes, we
very
are.
Good. You are a very good archer.
Hey, I'm good. I scored
No, you didn't.
I scored a 10, which is like the next best thing to a bullseye.
Okay.
I
all
scored
right.
on a little tiny piece of tape.
That's because that was made up on the spot.
So see, guys, if you play with guns, you're going to have more fun at carnivals. That's really what it boils down to.
That's the moral of the lesson here,
Exactly.
children.
Exactly.
There you go.
Everyone here is older than
Okay,
you.
we've gone off the
So
rails.
shut up.
Okay, let's get back on track if you know what I mean.
So,
Ew.
but
Max is
we
gross.
were talking about I mentioned Colonial Williamsburg, and you mentioned that you went to different historical sites. What's a particular site that you've been to, Larry, that you've really enjoyed? Something that maybe is local that we could look into.
Yeah, actually, there's a national historical site right here in our beloved New Jersey, up in Morristown, where they had a winter encampment during the Revolutionary War.
And
that-
then there's a
we've
Delaware
seen
River
that
crossing
place.
recreation that they do.
there you go.
Yeah, we were almost.
We
gonna
also
go there,
went.
but
Yes,
then
I
it got
saw
canceled.
Washington's headquarters.
Yep.
There's a lot of historical sites.
Well,
we went
for the
to,
Revolutionary War, New Jersey was called the crossroads of the Revolution because the ebb and flow of the American Revolution went back and forth across New Jersey numerous times. So there's a lot of
Yep.
Revolutionary War historical sites right here in New Jersey.
Well, in Bridgewater, close to our house, in front of the P.C. Richards, is a plaque where they ended World War One. From what I understand, that there was something about ending World War One,
Right.
and if as you drive, into the shopping complex, and right before you turn right to go to the Burger King, there's this plaque. that-
You never showed me that.
well, because it's in the middle of the street. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
kind of difficult.
I didn't know Ronald was at the
Exactly.
signing of the armistice.
So, but
the-
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of historical sites. Like for example, and there's just interesting places to walk around. I mean, for example, just that site you talked about in
Morristown.
Also, I'd like to say Nick Franco has been summoned.
Oh,
He's commenting.
Nick is commenting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Next
like
time, let me
the,
read this. I have achieved my ultimate form.
I
times.
am in such trouble.
well, considering I texted him a picture with my tongue out saying nah, 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 he's pretty peeved.
Yeah, I just see by Nick, he puts up the von Steuben house. Now that's over in
Yeah.
River Edge. And had it not been for the von Steuben house and the New Bridge Crossing, the Americans would have lost the revolution. That was the savior of the
Yeah,
of the
us.
American Revolution.
Well,
Yep.
See,
and-
people are
and-
the savior. We're the best.
Well,
That's
one of the-
debatable.
One of the things I should say is that I mentioned earlier in the conversation. Seriously, there's like 3 years of super great podcasts that you guys have done. Some with a little bit more colorful language.
Not exactly family friendly.
We'll keep
I
that.
don't. What's that family's name?
The
the
Sunquist
Sunquist?
family.
The Sunquist family are have found it acceptable. But I really have to say that as I'm exercising now, KP, you say I'm on the elliptical. I'm actually on the exercise bike. I don't have
Ooh, all right.
I don't have an elliptical. I'm not coordinated enough to have an elliptical. But I have almost fallen off the
used to
exercise
run
bike at some of the things you said.
My friend's teacher had an elliptical by the stairs, and one day he fell off of it.
Oh
Well,
So
God.
mean.
Oh man.
Gina.
Is he okay?
This is why we need to mute her mic. Next
Done.
time.
They gave him a free elliptical.
Because we've gone long sometimes. Because I know you'll listen to the podcast while you're
let's
exercising.
not kill the big kahuna here. I've already
Fell
done
down the
that today.
stairs. He was right next to the stairs and he fell down the stairs.
So, and then,
Brutal.
one of the other things
Quite.
is that, are there any particular museums or any
I've been to the
other-
newspaper museum.
Yes, they
I've
shut
been to
that
the
down.
National Newspaper Museum before it shut down.
Which one was that?
The
in
the
Washington-
museum,
Yeah.
and then I went to the
Was that
Spy
good?
Museum.
It
I
was
saw
okay.
Yeah.
James Bond's
You
car.
said Spy Museum. We're talking
Yeah, we-
DC?
Yeah.
Aha. Is that where the news museum was?
Yeah.
too?
Yeah.
I feel like I've been there too. Then.
Yeah,
It shut-
that's a cool
Wow,
museum.
it's almost like that was scripted.
But
Did you take them or that? Or was that a
Mom,
Our mom
that
did.
was your mom.
so family trip still too? So that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that stuff.
I can remember when KP was first time to Washington on a family trip, coming up out of the metro, and the mall just opened up before you, and he was in school just a couple of weeks prior. They were talking about how a bill becomes law and all that type of stuff, and coming up out of the metro at the station there, and
Yes,
you're
I already
on the
know how
mall,
that
and
happened.
there's the Capitol building, there's the White House. There's the Washington Monument. He was a jaw-drop moment for a young KP.
I imagine so.
Then about 2 minutes later, my mother goes, "Isn't that your friend Michael Lewis?" Same trip. We were on the same vacation schedule from school. So one of my buddies from school was hanging out in DC with us.
Oh,
What-
wow.
What we have been to, it hasn't been in a number of years, but in Cooperstown, New
we
York,
need to go. We're going back to Cooperstown, Pennsylvania.
I don't want to go.
No.
I'm
back.
a
I
baseball
hated
nerd
it.
myself.
Cooperstown, New York, Max.
Ew, I
Yeah.
hated that place.
Cooperstown, where the baseball Hall of Fame
That's
is.
in,
All right.
that's in New York.
Nothing.
Chicken nuggets.
So, you know,
It's honest.
so, so
I've
in,
had someone fell out of their chair.
in
Oh, KP is dead. Oh no, wait, no. I mean, the big kahuna's dead.
so
That
Dina,
put him
you
on the-
killing him.
Good, I love to
So
kill people.
in
What did I say?
Cooperstown, they have obviously the Baseball Hall of Fame, and Max is the big sports fan in the family.
Oh yes,
But
the
they-
only sports
Ew.
fan. I mean, the only sports fan in the family besides AB. On Dad's side,
Yeah.
I'm the only sports fan.
AB
Is the one that got him
is
into all
Aunt
of this.
Betsy. They call
AB.
her AB. And,
That doesn't mean it's Antonio Brown. Don't worry about that. It's AB, not Antonio
But
Brown.
in Cooperstown, we were at the Baseball Hall of Fame, which is very good. But they also have something
He's real.
called the Farm Museum.
Farmers
The
Museum.
Farmers Museum.
Oh, that was the worst.
KP's got a story about
Oh,
the Farmers
please,
Museum.
tell
Oh
us.
yes,
that
this
is
is
the,
this is still story
that is
time,
That was the
children.
first time you shot the brown bess.
All right, so this is cool. So
Okay.
since you guys both like history, when people there's so many people that drag their kids to these things, and the kids are miserable.
Yeah,
they just
our
wanna
dad
leave,
did
and this
that.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. If
Oh yeah, maybe
We're
that was
grandparents.
Dina
That was
dragging
the worst
herself.
thing ever.
if you show a little interest in the thing, though, all of a sudden there's like these little hidden things that maybe don't get seen on the tour all the time. So I couldn't shut up about history for the longest time. I'd get excited, and I saw we were at this one part of the museum. We were at I want to say it was some guy's like lodge or something. And I
Yeah,
said,
what it was is that you say museum, it is truly a museum, but it's really a whole village, very similar to Williamsburg
Exactly.
or Sturbridge Village kind of a thing. So it's I would say early 1800s
Town.
typical museum town village. Yeah.
So just up on the fireplace of this one guy's house, we're hearing him speak and stuff. I think like one of the big attractions was you could make a nail with like the blacksmith or something, and I thought that was really cool. And then I'm just talking to the tour guides and stuff. And if you guys know stuff, which you guys both clearly know stuff, this is how you unlock the secret hidden stuff over here at these parks. I said to the guy, I said, "Is that a Brown Bess musket back there?" And this guy looks at me like, "Why is a seventh grader know this?" And he goes, "Yeah, it is." And then I'm asking, "Oh, cool. So that was what was used by the British, really? I was a British event." And he goes, "You want to shoot it?"
Wow.
All of a sudden, the
need
guy
to shoot
busts it out.
that.
Yep, it was the coolest thing. And
Takes
my
it down
mom,
off the mantelpiece and loads it up.
Well, where did you go? I mean, in the living room or?
no, he took me outside. So he literally, the guy stopped what he was doing because he was just like, "Well, this kid's gonna get something out of
Yeah.
this." How many kids are sitting there like playing with a Game Boy back then,
Yeah.
just wanting to get out of there? And he took me outside. I remember I had a New York Yankees visor hat on and a
Oh,
corn
thank
t-shirt.
goodness. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I'll redeem you for the baseball side. For the football side, we're going. No, I can't.
Don't worry, you'll grow out of your Tampa Bay face.
Oh, really?
The worst thing
She's a
ever. He
KC
can't shut
fan.
up.
She's a KC fan.
But when you guys
No one
go to
asked.
these plays, if you find a way to show that you guys know stuff, then all of a sudden the guy takes you outside.
Right.
He's letting me shoot a gun, and there's other people that are sitting there like around, like, oh, I guess maybe we'll get to shoot the gun. The guy's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I
Yeah,
have
that's
no
it.
idea.
That's the end of the day for us.
So you guys might have gotten an opportunity like that.
Yeah, we
because
got to
you know stuff.
we got to use a printing press.
We
See,
did.
that's pretty cool too.
Oh, that's cool.
We did. That was a fun trip. And then also
We got to see the forgers make swords and axes and whatnot.
and then we went to another year. We went to Lancaster, and
That was okay. Where we got to drive the skid steers.
No, that was
That-
Diggerland.
that was
Oh,
another
NCs.
vacation.
I don't
Diggerland?
remember that.
It's a construction amusement park
Really?
in South Jersey, and it was like, it must have been like 4 or 5 years ago that we went down there, and the kids, they put them in construction equipment and you drive around.
Oh, wow.
Oof. Yeah, it got shut down due to labor laws, but it was fun while it lasted, right?
Wait,
Come with me
it
and
got
you'll
shut
be
down?
In a world of OSHA violations.
Well,
I thought you were actually not kidding. It actually got
Max.
shut down because you can drive skid steers.
Max, that's what you're doing in November when you're an adult. So
Oh wait, what? I thought I was gonna be doing merch ads for these guys,
maybe that.
or for
But,
Stu'ing It. Who knows? I could probably just do
Oh, how long
merch
did it
But-
take to load
ads
the
for any
thing?
podcast.
And
if
then
you need.
also, on a purely selfish reason, I literally dragged Max and Dina and my mom and dad through
That was the worst.
through the Time Museum. Do you remember the Time Museum?
I can't remember that.
What is the Time Museum?
It was a
bunch of
history-
clocks.
It was a bunch of clocks, pretty much a bunch of clocks.
I will say I'm not a clock historian. I'm not a clock
It
historian.
was a history of clocks, which I found fascinating, and I went through in about 49 minutes because no one else.
I will
did.
say it kind of was.
How are you able to
boring.
keep the time?
Well, you know,
So funny.
you know, and
He is a working comedian, so he better be.
Hey, I'm a comedian too.
No, you're not.
Who
You suck.
No,
You suck.
no,
you suck.
actually,
Who made?
actually,
Who killed the big kahuna?
actually, Matt,
Me.
KP is an authentic comedian, a real, you know.
And that's when you get successful at jokes like me, then you can work excavation during the day like I do.
You can work the skid steer during the day and get on stage at night.
Well, that could work. Or I can just do merch ads here. You're comedians at night. I'm comedian at
It's
night.
true. I have a question about the Clock Museum.
Yes.
All right, so obviously there's some, because part of the thing that goes into the clocks is the crazy cool designs
Yeah.
and things. So I would say the coolest clock I can think of in my entire life is the one with in the alligator's mouth and hook.
Oh, Peter Pan.
I don't remember that one. I don't remember.
They didn't have it
It was
there.
the croc. It was the big croc. But
The big
no, I didn't.
crocodile.
From Hook?
that
I was saying
Captain-
like that's the coolest clock I've ever. I guarantee there's other cool designs. So there had to be something cool there.
There
It's,
were actually,
Captain Hook.
There were, and you know, basically.
Here we go.
Oh, look, there,
It's from Captain Hook.
Big Kahuna, you're awesome.
Yeah, shout out to the big kahuna over here.
But
Here,
basically,
anonymous
killed her.
over
there's
here.
all the there's all.
Right here.
You
I
want to
murdered
talk
him.
about a
I
very focused,
Twice.
specific museum. This
Ew.
it's clocks.
Where is it?
It's in Lancaster.
Oh,
And you're
okay.
definitely not going to lose
and-
your time at
and-
this museum.
And what I
And
did
this is
is
the only museum you can keep
what
track of.
I did is we went to the Turkey Farm ice cream
Oh,
experience.
yeah,
that
been there.
one was
Because
fun.
That was good.
I
I'm
love-
can we
I
spend on the ice
totally-
hook?
I
Clock
totally
again.
wanted to bribe the four of them to be super happy, but
I
we-
remember
we
that.
Went,
That was
we,
fun.
We went beforehand, so they were all ice creamed up and jazzed up and all on sugar highs when I was trying to walk through a clock museum. So,
Well, in our family, it's KP and his sister Carrie and my wife. And typically, if we go into a museum like that, if it's historical, my wife and Carrie are probably through it first.
yeah.
And then KP and I are reading every plaque that's in there.
Well,
We go for the
That's the worst.
full experience.
Well,
So
yeah, well, I
from-
do
look
that
at something
sometimes.
and go.
From what you've said, I think your sister is casing the gift shop.
That's a
Yeah.
No?
There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah,
Get
the
in the
only
lay of the
good-
land.
From that point of,
Did
for that
they have
POV,
Pink
the
Floyd
real best
playing
part of the
throughout?
museum, the best
I
exhibit,
don't
the gift shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best.
So what's the
exhibit.
best gift shop you ever been in?
That's a good one. I really don't know.
Um,
At this point, they all blur together, if you
So
know what I mean.
wait a minute.
I mean,
so
same stuff,
we're-
pretty much,
we're,
or they don't
we're
have
on
it.
we're on our staycation. So can you explain to KP and Larry the idea of
I'll
vacation
do it.
allowance?
Actually, look, I want to say this.
Okay.
What if we just go to a gift shop museum?
What if there was just the Museum of Gift Shops?
That would be
And,
nice.
and then
fun.
when you went out the door, the last thing would be an actual museum.
Yeah,
So can you explain to KP
and you
and
can buy
Larry,
things either way.
Max? Can you explain to KP and Larry the idea of vacation allowance?
So the idea of a vacation allowance is every day of the staycation you earn $5,
Actually, I think
and
we
you
already
can
know
pretty
what
much have that if you save up. You can buy stuff.
So what basically happens is, on vacation, every day we're on staycation, you get $5 into your vacation allowance
Account?
And what
Okay.
happens is that if you want to spend things early, you can only buy, something that's $5. If you want to wait, you can get a bigger item. So it's
So if they had a 9-day staycation, they
Yeah.
could
Like
book
it-
1 hour of podcast. I'm here at the studio.
there you go. Or you could grab someone else and pull them in, and
Or
then
if you
they get
really-
double the value.
or if you had 9 days and you had big bucks, you could buy some merch.
This
It's
kid's
on a
a
theme. I like it.
Crazy.
Well-
Absolutely.
Well, the-
Yeah.
That one is
Below.
extremely smooth.
No,
Max,
actually-
Max, do you want to go over what kind of
Oh yes.
merch we have?
Speaking of merch, we're on the American Loser side. You have these patches and stickers, but for the Stu'ing It side, you have these nice stickers. There's magnets, and it's over here.
And we have
Clear pin.
we have
And now new
Livestrong
wristbands.
wristbands.
Now we're talking.
Skipping the
I
ad.
mean, LP just shown
I'm
there. It says
skipping the ad.
the Stu'ing It podcast. Very nice. And if we just open it up here, you have.
This counts as an unboxing video now.
Yes, it
pretty
does.
much.
That's-
What do we
You
have?
Yeah.
What do we have, Max?
Your mom. You're fired.
Gotta learn early.
We have keychains over here. Right here. It's hard to get stuff out of the box. We have
Coasters.
coasters. I did not know these were coasters. These are new coasters. Just here, KP.
Oh,
you might
fun.
need something for that drink.
Oh,
Boom.
very
Boom.
nicely done, Max.
Wow.
We also have
Your mom.
you expel. Well, if you have something magnetic like a fridge, and you really love this podcast, or you just love everyone here on the podcast, even this person, we're not discriminative. We have magnets. Let's pick up some Stu'ing It merch now.
Well, and how would they get hold of it?
Yeah,
you can
we're
email.
unbagging.
You can email Daddy, and he will just and you can do a trade.
Daddy, we gotta be more specific, buddy.
There,
Yeah.
you can
So that's-
fire him an email the money, and he will. and then he will. Yes, Stuart E. Greenberg, if you want it.
Elliot
You-
Greenberg.
You can get out.
You can send me a message on Facebook.
I'm a big
www.dad.
his mic now. There, and he will send you that merch.
Exactly.
Nice.
Well, the only thing that I ask for.
And then we also have on the American Loser side, we have these patches that you can sew on. It says KP and Dad President American Loser podcast with some eagles in the U.S. or if you want that but smaller, a sticker for more mobility. You can pick that up on where can I get that, KP?
This kid's good.
He is.
If you need me to hire,
give him
and if you need to
solid.
hire
Give
me,
him
you can send
$70
me.
an
That's
hour for
Yeah,
your
that's
merch
good.
plug.
It's
You're
called
gonna be
marketing,
mad 'cause
man.
we're gonna pay him in
You'll make
chicken
good money.
nuggets.
I like chicken nuggets. I like chicken nuggets. I like them. They're mine.
Well, and-
I like
and-
Well, he's the
and
one who did all the
let me-
promoting. You don't get no nuggets.
let me-
Yeah, do that.
I get all the
Let
chicken
me
nuggets.
let me give
I
a
get all
shout
the
out
nuggets.
to the king of chicken nuggets,
Me.
Ralph Garman's co-host of
Eddie
the Ralph
Pence.
Report, comedian Eddie Pence, who I think I've been trying to get on the podcast on Stu'ing It as long as I've been trying to get you on. So Eddie Pence, gauntlet thrown down.
It's right.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
Your
we're
move,
coming
Eddie.
for
Your
we're
move,
coming
Eddie.
for
Get with it.
They're my chicken nuggets now.
No, you
Yeah.
do nothing on the promote on the
Oh,
on the
someone asked
promotion.
where the pack
Nuggets
is
are for
made.
closers.
Yeah. Oh yes,
I've
I'll
heard
be
that
make,
before.
yes, I'll make the money here.
Okay.
Here now back to your regular
Actually-
scheduled program.
So,
Actually, I had 10 chicken nuggets yesterday
I gained like
yes,
4 pounds out
yeah,
eating.
we're on vacation. It's okay.
Yeah.
from Burger King.
So,
I
um,
like the chicken nuggets.
So what basically happens is, if you would like any of the Stu'ing It merchandise, just send me a message over Facebook, and the only thing I ask for is a self-addressed stamped envelope, and I will send you whatever you would like.
He's a why man. All right,
Wow.
we screwed that one up. We didn't
Yeah.
do that. Self-addressed is smart. That's the smart move.
That's
I'm
ma-
sorry, Mom.
Well,
If
there's
my
a
mom's
reason-
watching. I'm sorry.
Well,
There's
well,
a reason
let
this
me-
man got a PhD. There's a reason for it.
Thank you, Max.
Big
right.
brain.
Thank you. Well, let me
you have
let me
it in
say
psychology.
that I'm not yet at
No.
the Patreon
Oh,
level,
wait.
so that's why I need the self-addressed stamped envelope.
Understood.
But
Same
that,
here.
Understood.
well, the way
Well,
Max is going, maybe I should start a Patreon.
Maybe you
Yeah.
You
should.
should. I'm getting free
The-
money.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about what staycation money though, right?
Hey,
That's
hey, hey, I want my cut of money
$25
for
per stickers.
advertising it.
Yes, exactly.
I'll get my. I want my cut of payment.
Max, you can be the executive VP of marketing.
Okay, thank gosh.
Okay.
That's
there
all I
you go.
ask.
Okay, there you go.
game day.
So looking ahead to, let's say when we're in a position to start going to different places again.
Gee, that would be very fun.
That will be very fun. Is there any particular site that you haven't been to as of yet that you would like to see in person, or any?
Ooh.
Yeah.
got
That
a
Nick
couple-
guy just commented again.
I
Riker?
am
Nick guy?
people content. I'm people watching.
Floyd playing for Al.
What?
I think he was talking about the Clock Museum.
Oh,
Did they have Pink Floyd playing throughout the Clock Museum?
Nice.
Have extra content.
I'll tell you what. That's a good question, though, Stu. And I'm very curious what my father's going to say because this is a more well-traveled man than I.
I want to go to Rome.
Rome's got to be pretty cool. I'll say that much. Is it American history we're talking?
No,
Well,
this is
I would just open it up,
Zambini.
wherever you would
Where?
care.
Ah, cool. I like that. There is
Dina-
so much
what are you
history
running
in
off to?
Ireland that's crazy and nobody knows about. That there's, I remember I
bang.
stumbled upon this
one
last
moment.
Halloween. It was haunted castles over in Ireland. See, I figured so that's how you get some of
Yeah,
the history
there you go.
people, and you got to blur the worlds. But
There was a Zamboni thing in the jig.
Okay, come sit
But
down.
I heard she doesn't like anything, so maybe it's not worth it.
So you're saying that there are various sites in Ireland that would be interesting for you to go take a look
because I would have little to no background on it. So when I go to something in the United States, typically any place I've been, I'm like, oh, I kind of know what was happening here. And that's a very fun thing for Gettysburg.
Yeah.
But I was almost to the point of being hyper obsessive at Gettysburg to. Like some of the at times, it was like people were like, all right, move on. This is a little round top kid. We get it, you know.
okay.
But if I went over to Ireland, I'd be like, hang on, what?
at. Yeah.
Because that history gets buried real deep because for a long time they weren't allowed to tell it. So
Yeah. No, I mean, the
Think
thing
of
is
the
that
Jewish
I
people.
have been to Berlin,
Many times.
many times for business.
Oh yes, too many to count.
Exactly, and I got to go to, like, for example, the Checkpoint Charlie.
I
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw
Yeah.
the
Whoa.
That
Berlin
nearly started
Wall.
World War III.
Yeah.
If
That was,
you
it was
didn't
really
know
cool.
that.
There was one side it was like sparkling clean, and the other side just had graffiti all
That's
over.
Yes,
because
it-
one side had communism, the super
know.
bad,
Oh
Okay.
my
the super
gosh.
bad government, and one had democracy, the good government that everyone should follow. What the heck was that?
how many
was-
more years till we can vote for you for president,
Max.
Max? I need
Like
to
in
know.
2035,
Right.
that might
Nah,
happen.
Let me put it to you this way:
We should start campaigning.
Greenberg, 2035.
I'm gonna
Mark my
love
words.
it.
All right.
Mark my words, he'll never run.
So, I mean, what happened is that, that was a case where, I had known just the general knowledge about it, but I didn't have, the specifics. And, you could go into this museum and, like, they would have, like, this suitcase that some gentleman worked, and his wife was crammed in the suitcase to try and get across the border, and they had a car where they kind of like took the insides of the seat out so someone could crawl in.
The secret panel.
The secret
right.
panel.
Yeah, so people could just
Wait,
if they
Star
want-
Wars copied them with the Han Solo thing.
That's because it
They
was a
open the
smuggling
latch.
ship.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty standard trope in stories that people hiding in.
Yeah,
secret
they
compartments. Yeah.
Oh, where have
they're
I seen that
copying
before,
them.
Disney? How about in episode 7 where you pretty
okay.
much ripped off the old trilogy?
Guys,
Okay,
I'm
so
Never mind.
Yes, I'm on strike about that.
Larry, is there some place that you're especially looking forward to going?
Well, I've been to Ireland for a 2-week stint, and it is chock full of history that I never knew of and would love to go back again. But here on our own shores, I think I'd really like to get down to New Orleans and see the World War II Museum.
Ooh, I'd like to go that.
That,
Yeah.
A lot of people have told me that is like unbelievable with, Tom Hanks getting involved.
Yeah.
And, Saving Private Ryan and all those types of things. That to see the displays that are put out there, that I'd like to see that.
Well,
Yep,
I
I'd
have
like
to,
to see that too.
I have to
wanna
tell
go to
you
Rome.
that now it's a number of years ago, quite a long time ago, but I was at a conference for work, a medical conference for work, and I was in New Orleans, and I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take an extra 3 days, because what happens is if I paid for the hotel and the plane fare was the same price, I could stay there
Right.
and sightsee. Unfortunately, it was 36 degrees, and the people lost their mind. They're like, it's so cold, we can't.
Right.
They shut everything down. They're like, we
Right.
can't go in the cemetery tour, it's too cold. I'm like, put a jacket on. It's
Right.
36.
Right.
So basically, I was in New Orleans for a weekend watching movies on TV.
Did you at
Wow.
least get to see them?
I was gonna go to England.
Did you get
Yes,
to see?
yes,
Did you get to see the?
I'm
yes.
so mad.
Daddy, did you
Actually,
get to see the Mercedes-Benz Superdome?
No, I didn't.
Oh, because that's where
But-
the Saint. That's where the
No one cares.
the
Okay,
stinky,
relax.
smelly
So-
Saints
You were going to go
play.
to England? You
Yeah.
said?
Yes, we were.
So
I was gonna have to board a plane. The most scariest thing in the world.
It's
what,
not scary,
what
relax.
happened was, and this is just unfortunately the reality of our time, is that
I am so mad.
they were going to go to a visit to London with their mom, and then they were going to do the channel to
Go over to France.
go over
Yes.
to Paris, but it was right around
The first lockdown.
2
the
weeks.
first lockdown.
It was 2 weeks before.
Yeah, so
What are we at? What lockdown are we in at this
We're
point?
not in one right now, but who knows?
who knows?
At this
So-
point, they all
so-
pretty much
so
all of
what-
them blur
so
together at the end. You know what I mean?
What happens is all things shall pass, and I'm sure that you'll have the chance to go.
Opportunity again.
Either
it's not
with
because you
mom or
didn't
with
get a
me, or we'll figure out a way to do it.
I will
When-
tell you, it's
Oh,
fun.
it was
I've been to
non-refundable,
London.
too.
Yeah,
I went
I-
with my dad on tour when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I got to see Big Ben, but unfortunately,
Ooh, Ben
Was
Roethlisberger.
no-
Shut up.
wow, so mean.
His nickname is Big Ben.
That's great.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh,
Max
comedy.
is following the
Roasted
tradition
by
of one of my
kids
other
today.
favorite
Yeah.
comedic sources of Jewish heritage in Mel
Someone
Brooks.
posted
Yeah.
a
There's something
comment.
there.
yeah. Kahuna, you toured London. You had a
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I went with my dad. It was
Yeah.
it was really cool. I got to see the clock tower, which I remember very well because it didn't have an elevator, so
Yeah,
I
that-
got to go up to the bell. And,
Ring it?
No, thank God, because
you probably would have went flying off of it.
yeah, because me and loud noises don't really get along. But I remember really enjoying that. I thought it was super cool because I got to see Parliament and all that stuff.
Nice.
I wonder I wonder what Parliament was doing.
I actually took another weekend at one point when I was traveling for business, and I went to London, and I think it's in the Victoria and Albert Museum. I saw the actual Rosetta Stone.
Oh, wow.
I want to see
That stone-
Stonehenge.
that
I was
stone
gonna see
seems-
Stonehenge.
That stone brings-
Max, do you know what you know?
Oh yes, the Hope Diamond. I know what that
no,
is.
where I was asking
The
about the
Rosetta
Rosetta
Stone.
Stone.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that pretty much before time when
That's
pretty
gonna
much
be a
people
long
found
one.
gnarly Egyptian things, which by gnarly means good. They couldn't read the hieroglyphics. I pretty much can't pronounce that
Okay.
word.
You did pretty good.
If only you had a Rosetta Stone to help you.
Exactly. So, but
If
what?
only, pretty much the science one. If only we had like a dictionary to help us. Oh,
Universal Dictionary.
Mr. Archaeologist here found it.
And what
You
was
get a
it, Max?
promotion.
What-
It's a Rosetta Stone. It pretty much has the alphabet of hieroglyphics, so they were pretty much able to find some cool facts.
So basically, it has a passage in 3 different languages, like in the ancient Egyptian and like the Greek and the Latin, I think it is. And by comparing the passages, they could decipher the Egyptian writing. Is that the case?
Yes, that was.
And that,
And everyone was
Interesting.
lived happily ever read all 3 of those languages happily ever after.
There you go.
So I mean, that was something. I mean, that's one
Yes.
of these famous objects of humanity,
Sure.
and just to see it, and kind of you go and you look at it and you're like,
This is
okay,
boring.
it's the Rosetta Stone.
But it's the
And-
code breaker
It's
to
a code breaker. I
ancient
mean,
history.
and it's the same thing like with the Art Institute in Chicago. There are some major, works of art like American Gothic, which is the farmer and his wife in front of the
Oh,
farm.
right, with the picture. Yeah.
They have that there, and also I'm a big fan of the artist Edward Hopper and the famous.
Does he
picture
hop
that-
like a bunny?
No. Listen, what happens is there's a famous picture called Nighthawks where it's people in a diner and you're looking into the diner and like you can go and look at this original painting and I think that it's all of the things that we've been talking
Why
about.
do
so far.
Why do they call it Nighthawks if you're just looking into a diner?
Because it's people who are up at night. In that
It's one of the better Tom Waits albums, too, by the way.
There you go. But I think that one of the things is that obviously, it's these touch points to history. Your grandpa, my story about my grandpa, these physical
My
objects. that we can-
grandfather, he fought in the Vietnam War.
No, that's not true.
That's the Korean War.
Oh,
Gina.
oops.
Get your wars right.
Grandpa Eddie was.
If you're gonna be with American losers, you gotta do your homework.
Yes,
Ew.
exactly.
I wish all our
Want
guests
to do
were-
homework?
Too bad, too sad.
That's your tagline, KP.
We're going to have to work something out.
I'm
Yes,
telling
that could be you get.
So-
What if I
What-
don't
what
want to do
happened is
homework?
Grandpa Eddie was in Korea after the Korean conflict. He was in the construction crews that helped rebuild the infrastructure because he worked in construction for 60 years. So basically,
What about the necklace story he never stops telling?
Oh yeah.
we don't need to go into that detail.
We need to keep
boring
it
after a
PG for our
while.
viewers.
Well, what basically happened is my grandfather, their grandfather, my dad, had a very prized necklace.
Still has it.
He still has it, and he was working, and it broke and fell into the sewer, and his crew of Korean nationals held him in such high esteem that they went down into the sewer to fish it out for him. Which is, it's a very endearing story that that they held him in such high regard that they knew it was
But it
super
gets
important.
boring after a while.
I like it. It's like Pennywise and It meets Titanic, right?
Yeah.
It-tanic? I got it.
Pretty much. Exactly.
Hey, that'd be a
That
good
is
movie.
Pennywise
cool.
hiding in the
So,
sewer.
so can I
Mm-hmm.
And he goes like,
can I ask you something?
"Hi,
Can I ask you something, Dina? Okay, I'm gonna give you now free reign. You.
Oh, please no.
Okay,
Oh, please, God, no.
Max, 1 minute. Okay, you. I'm very interested. You now can lead the conversation. Is there something that you find really intriguing or interesting? You have the four of us, and
It
hold
has
on.
to be
What-
history, though.
Well, no. Let's not even say history. What is something that will really really excites you to? And I want to hear that, and I want to discuss it now.
Oh god, no. $50. I already know what it is.
Okay, Max.
What?
Max, just let your sister talk for a
Okay.
minute. So,
What do you think it is?
So
Exposing me.
no.
No.
So, honey, you have the chance now because we've talked about a lot of stuff that we're interested in. You've been a super good sport, a little bit too enthusiastic, but that's
No.
another story. So now you have the chance. I'm paying 100% attention to you. What would you like to discuss at this point? So, I mean, one of you have several interests. I mean, you're a cat fancier. You have your pet cats.
Yeah.
One that loves you too much, I would
have-
say.
Oh, shut up.
You
You
have
don't
a-
have any cats that like you.
Okay.
Hey,
okay.
hey, I had one, but then I had to get a new bed.
Max, right now we're giving Dina a chance because we really monopolized the conversation. So, Dina, I'm sorry if this puts you on the spot, but you've been a really reasonable, let's say, a reasonable sport. So,
Yeah,
is
I
there
know. I
some-
have to
This is
pretend.
high
there-
Dina
is
esteem.
is there something that you would like to discuss at this point? So,
Mm,
no.
I'm thinking.
Well, why don't you think about it? And when it comes up, because this is something that Max is interested in. Obvious, Larry and KP and I.
I have
Yes,
one.
I'll
You have
probably
one?
be
Tell-
gunning for
tell
that
me.
third
Shut up,
seat
Max.
on that in the sports
be
world.
nice.
No.
Be nice.
What if I don't want to be nice?
She's
Well-
never
well-
nice to me.
Well,
Exactly,
you know
'cause
what?
I'm your sister.
At least it's it's not like anything permanent like on the internet. So
Oof.
Yeah, you can always delete it, but it's always
no,
tattooed in
it's
people's memories.
it's always there.
I know.
So is there what would you like to discuss at this point?
Okay. I hated Spanish, so I wanted to never do Spanish again.
Okay,
So I took the closest language to Spanish.
you took Italian.
Italian.
Okay,
yeah.
well now in taking
Oh,
it,
Dina,
in
may
taking
I interrupt you
Italian-
for a moment? You know what language that's not the closest to Spanish? Latin. I highly advertise it.
Well,
Full
well,
circle comedy, baby.
well, Dina,
I'll beat you up.
Dina, what is do you imagine that once you have fluency in Italian,
I
eventually
plan on moving to Rome.
you're going to move to Rome?
Yeah.
This is news to me. And
what are you
now,
gonna do?
what
No, I
Like
hate
pizza?
pasta.
you hate pasta?
You hate pasta, but you're going to pretty much where that and pizza was founded.
So
No, they call it American pizza. It's a different type of pizza.
okay,
It's
so
not.
what are you going to
Fat
do,
crust pizza was
Okay.
was invented by the Italians.
Max?
Oh my
Italians.
god, think
Max.
about it. How many
Oh my
times
god.
have to
May
say
I
it?
explain myself?
Max,
What?
Max, we're listening to Dina at this point. Okay, we're giving her a chance. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so why now? May I make a hypothesis? May I make an assumption? You are very interested in design. Would you want to move to Rome to work in design and like home design or decorative arts, or
I don't know.
you don't know? Is there what intrigues you about the Italian culture?
I want to move there. So
And what motivates you to do that?
I thought you wanted to move to Korea, Dina.
no, I don't. Actually, I wanted to move to Tokyo because
Yeah.
they have better. No, China because they have the best Wi-Fi.
They've
but
got some
like-
Wi-Fi.
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 Yeah, but the chicken
most
nuggets
prized
on is good.
Chicken nuggets, Wi-Fi.
Chicken
There's a dog
nuggets,
there. It's
meh.
made of
You
dog
can play
there.
all the
Chicken
Minecraft.
nuggets, meh,
Okay,
meh.
so-
This
It's made out of
this
dog
good
in
mi-
China.
Stop.
There.
Dina,
Well, good Wi-fi.
Stop. Okay,
Yes.
They have
please.
dog there. Though.
Okay, I should
Stop.
probably pop that up.
Okay, so what time are we at?
We are
After
at
you're 7 minutes over.
Oh my word, that went quick. So,
Aw,
so
I want to have another. I want to have some
well,
more time.
I guess what I like to say is it's wonderful this worked out.
Oh, dude, good
We'll
to
have
see
to
you
have
too in
another
person. It's
one.
been a minute, so.
It has. I think the last. Was it after the J Muse event in New Brunswick?
I gotta say, we've seen each other since then.
I should hope so.
Yeah,
yes.
that's a long time ago.
So,
Yeah.
no,
Yes, I
but,
do have some big announcements.
oh, tell me, Max.
Oh yes, this is regards esports. I'm friending a celebrity in Fortnite.
Well, let me say this.
I hope it's not an R&B singer.
Let me.
Oh no, it's not. This isn't Justin Bieber wannabe.
So
playing guitar.
we were at the
Sorry.
we were at the secret stash today, and what happened?
Jay was getting ready to have a live stream, and yeah, I asked if I could friend him since I play like a whole lot of Fortnite. Yes, I really need to get a girl.
Ew, you're nasty. No one would ever want to date you.
Finish this story. I'm excited. Where we go? This.
And he said yes, so he gave me his username, and then I gave him his, and so yeah.
So let me say
I'm
a
not
couple
gonna say
things.
his username, so random
Okay,
7-year-olds
so-
can friend him and get
so,
carried. Oh, I'm
um,
getting carried today.
So
You're a 7-year-old.
I'm not friends with J Muse, and Max will be, and.
That was a disclaimer. That was the first time I met
and
him
for
too.
the first time, Max has expressed an interest in girls. Right here, you want
That's his
history.
expression.
That's history.
That's an
A
expression.
mitzvah,
I'm
a mitzvah miracle.
Stay down.
I'm gonna get
Max,
killed.
Max, let me tell you
I'm
that
gonna beat up Max
that
tonight.
Oh God,
as
I'm gonna
I-
find Dino with the kitchen knife over my head.
as I've said, my dad is charming and Max is charming, so I'm sure that Max will have no problem.
Oh no, Max already got rejected 3 times.
Oh yeah, I had
so-
someone dump me. Yes, I struck out 3 times.
Happens to
best
all
friend.
players. It's all good.
Yes, it is.
It's all good.
Don't worry.
This is the first I'm hearing of it.
That was an expression. I'm gonna
Dude.
go single for some time. I'm not going to. Girl, that was just an expression.
This is
to
embarrassing.
just express how much Fortnite I play.
Max, Max, I want to say something. Every night before when they're with me or on the phone when they're at their mom's, we have a tradition. We've been doing this for like 8 years.
God. Oh no.
Okay, yeah, okay. I say, who's my best boy
I
or
am.
best girl? And they say, I am. I say, who's your best daddy?
You
They
are.
say, you are. I say, are you my superhero?
Yeah. Wait, it was Superstar. Don't change.
Are you my superstar?
Yes.
And then I say, how much I love you.
Forever.
And then I say, is there anything else we should discuss? Every night. Max.
Yeah.
Every night I say, is there anything else we should discuss? I would think this whole girl thing would be under that rubric.
I'm not getting a
Would've
girl.
come up.
I should say
Star.
disclaimer.
Max called my best
Star.
friend his future
You know.
girlfriend.
Just disclaimer. I'm not
Daddy.
getting a girl.
Ma-
That was just an expression to say how much Fortnite I play.
Max.
And yet I have
Max.
3 solo wins.
Max, can you give me some pointers? I need help.
Hello.
If I
Max.
don't use the bathroom in a second, I'm gonna cry. I'll be right back.
Max called my best friend his future girlfriend the other day.
That was a
Really?
joke.
Really?
I need to get
Really?
someone, and I'm lonely. I have like no one.
Okay.
Because pretty much
You got
everyone I've friended in
rejected by-
Fortnite hasn't been online in like a year since they're all mobile players.
We
No one
chased
cares.
KP away.
Oh,
The whole going to the bathroom, he's shocked. He's calling Child Protective Services.
You're
Take Max away.
They take Dino
Take
like she's a
Max away.
bandwagoner.
So,
Jeez.
Kahuna, did I see the wrap-up signal?
You were booked. No, I was just making sure you were good.
We're good. I want to. Let's
only one
figure out what we're gonna say when KP comes back
Oh
in.
God. Yes, I will. Do
Max
want to say
called
disclaimer.
my-
I'm not
my
getting
best friend his
someone.
future girlfriend.
It's just a joke. And
It's
just
just
to
a joke.
express how much Fortnite. I
Dude, then
play.
why'd you
Max-
call
He's
Elizabeth
actually
his
using the
future
bathroom. He's
girlfriend?
actually using the bathroom. I can
So-
Max.
So how about this then? Since we're getting towards the tail end of the show, where can people find you, Stu? Make some plugs.
Oh
Okay.
yes, I'm yeah.
Plug the
yes,
info,
you can
promote
find,
the show.
Yes, you can find. Yes, you can find him on Facebook. On Twitter, and on Instagram. Dad, you want to give them your tags? And also the official Stu'ing It.
Dad on
Yes.
Instagram.
Oh yes,
well,
Stu Greenberg
what
on
I am,
Facebook.
I'm on Facebook.
Why?
It's Stuart Greenberg. You can
Stu the
friend
NJ
me
Bat Dad
if
on
you wish. On Twitter, it's Stu the New Jersey Bat Dad. Max, I don't even know what I am on
Max,
Instagram.
call my best student and
I'm
about that.
no,
Max,
no,
call
no,
my
no,
best
no, no,
friend,
no,
his
no,
future
we don't have to
girlfriend.
talk about that.
Okay. So in any case, if you're looking for more of this insanity,
Yeah.
the-
This insanity that
the-
is
We'll be
my
here
life.
next time.
the Stu'ing It
Then
podcast.
we will also be discussing more sports. I did not get enough.
Yes, we will be next
I was
time.
able to make a Steelers joke because they're not going to do well, and I want to poke fun
Okay.
at them because they're not going to go 13-0 again.
Okay,
Again,
so
R.I.P. Big Ben
now
and Juju.
now
He's not going to do well.
let's throw it to KP and Larry to give their plugs.
Yes, we're yes. If
I'll
I
tell you
ever
what, I'm
wanted
so
to
used
find
to
if I ever wanted to watch you guys, where could I in like the next few years or so?
I'll tell you what, I'm usually pretty good at doing the promo here, and after 3 years, I'd like to think my father's figured out where to promote the show at.
Well, I don't know. Where are we? Where are we?
We're at the Bellworks Lab in
Homedale, New
in
Jersey.
Homedale, New Jersey.
There
That's
you
where
go.
we are, if you're wondering. And we're at the Shared Universe podcast studio. If you're wondering where we are.
Is that where we are?
Yes, we are at a Shared Universe podcast studio.
So that's where I've been working these 3 years?
Wow.
Wow.
You haven't.
Oh.
You've been working at Chicken Nuggets place.
I don't know. I've just been getting in a car for the past
I've
3
never
years,
heard
and
of
KP's
McChicken
taking me
Nuggets
for a
place.
ride.
Make chicken
It's true.
nuggets. Maybe
If you guys
that's
wanted to
like
check out the
McDonald's,
show, which
but
I
just
think
chicken
Max
nuggets.
listens, right? He's allowed to listen
No,
to the show a
not
little.
on
No,
12.
not yet. We'll get there. We'll get there.
And I'm 13. Can
Well,
I at least watch them?
Any episode that I'm not on is family approved.
He is normally our trash mouth on the show. I hate to say it, but at American Loser Podcast over on Instagram. Check us out anywhere podcasts are found. It's called American Loser, and I'll tell you what, we're going to figure out a way to incorporate down the road again here because this was very fun. It was great to see you. You're a great
That
friend.
and before we go,
Thanks for
and
having
then
me.
before we go, make sure to pick up some merch if we need to do the promo again. We will. We have
I've also
coasters
never
at
done
So the
KB's
only-
house. He also has some a nice wristband.
The
that
only-
he took off, and we have keychains, magnets, and coasters. If you need to pick them up, send a stamped email, a letter to Dad, and self-addressed, and yeah. Hopefully we can get Patreon next time. We're
Well,
not that rich. We're not that rich,
nice
children. We're not
segue,
rich.
my friend. So I what I want
Patreon,
to
Max, not
And also get
what-
your
okay,
patches and
okay,
stickers today.
okay. Just
Okay, I'm
one
probably gonna get fired by Dina.
one
I'll
last
just get
thing. One
slammed
last
by that
thing.
Nick fella.
One last thing is that I mean obviously we Max and Dina and I do this as a kind of fun hobby. You guys are super serious about it. You're going
We're not.
places, and I and our good friend.
We need to do that,
uh,
Daddy. We need to go places because we're still stranded.
Okay, so me and I was teasing Nick Franco, but he's a tremendous friend, and we support you guys on
Endlessly.
endlessly
Endlessly.
on Patreon.
Very much appreciated.
And really, what
be
happens
like
is
them.
that you get 3 free shows a month. You get 1 Patreon show, and it's super interesting, super entertaining. I really enjoy it. You've built a community, and all kidding aside, the Ming and Mike and the Big Kahuna are great, but there is a cost involved in doing this sort of stuff, and by
By
going
buying
on-
by
go-
buying our merch, you
Well-
help us tremendously.
Well,
We
hang
thank you.
on a minute, Max. By going on Patreon, it's our pleasure to help you out. So
That means a lot for
Yeah.
real.
It
Day
absolutely
one, too.
does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You,
Yeah,
I mean,
right
I'm
from the
telling
get-go.
you, I'm Stu'ing It. Nick Franco, right here.
Yeah.
All right?
okay,
We-
he's gonna totally
I-
punch me in the face.
I hope he does. I can't
felt-
wait to see that.
So,
that one
any-
hurt
okay,
tremendously.
Max.
Must mean
Max, any closing comments?
Yes, I do. Football is coming up, and football is coming up. So yeah, the Yankees are actually good again. Boston, you're not gonna go anywhere. And yeah, and I really don't know. Maybe I should start my own podcast.
It'll be
I
called.
think you pretty much have a spot on at least 2 of them by this point.
Oh yes,
say.
the sports one.
I'm
The
concerned
sports
you
one
don't
and
talk
American losers. The sports one and American losers. It was like talking baseball or something. I definitely earned a spot on that.
Okay.
No.
Matt, Dina, any
I
concluding
have a
comments?
few things on my bucket list.
Okay.
Number 1, I want want to go to England. Number 2, I want to go to Paris. Number 3, I want to go to Rome. And number 4, I want to make a podcast called Exposing Max.
She loves to do that.
Okay.
And she
number
also
5,
loves Blackpink, if you're
Okay.
wondering.
I
So-
want to meet Ollie London, the dude that got over 18 plastic surgeries to look like someone and failed miserably.
What's that now?
Yeah, he's extremely hated on because he
got
killed
over
KP. I mean, he killed him at the big
I-
kahuna.
I-
I guess the two mixed up.
To look like someone
dude,
and failed.
Dude, I am totally checking your browser history.
Yes, check yes, when we get home, can you check Dina's
I don't
browser
have a
history,
browser
please?
history 'cause
Well,
I don't
and
search.
lastly, the big kahuna, dude, you're awesome. We love you.
I haven't had
You're the
Yeah, I'm
best.
all right.
You
I
are
haven't had the
anchor.
big kahuna do the sound since the first time I was ever on a podcast.
So
Oh, that's right.
That's big.
That's right. That was
Ming,
both of you
Ming,
guys.
we love you too. We,
Good crews around here. Good
it's
crews.
a good crew, and I think we'll wrap this circus up.
Bye-bye.
Yep. So,
Thank you
so
so
please
much.
buy.
Very
Yeah,
fun.
so
Thank you,
please
guys.
buy some merch. If you haven't already, tell your friends about this. So tell your friends about this because it really helps grows the podcast, and expands it. And so, yeah, we'll see you soon. Hopefully, very soon. When when should we have our next podcast? While we're
I'm
here?
working on it, dude.
Okay, we're definitely gonna have the end of the year holiday specials. We all know that.
Maybe in between then and now. We'll try. to do
Okay.
it. Okay.
Yeah, but we'll have the holiday specials.
Okay.
So look out for that.
Ma-
and
Max,
we'll-
Max, why don't you make some suggestions for me?
we have,
Write up a proposal, dude.
Oh, okay. Yes, we'll have to have it.
I'm really good at
We'll
writing
have,
essays.
your
we'll have a
people talk to
birthday
my
special
people.
and the line
you know,
to
Max,
Thanksgiving.
Max, I have a couple of PowerPoints that are due. Can you help me?
Oh,
I
yes,
can
I
write
can
a
help
whole
you.
entire
Excellent.
essay in a day.
Hey Max,
I've
let
done
me
it
ask you
before.
something.
Yes.
Just off the cuff here. Have you ever watched a movie on TV and like all of a sudden you're like, wow, there's just way too many commercials.
Yes.
You get tired of listening to the commercials?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering.
You're tired of listening to me.
No,
No, the merch things, because like
every
he
other
has.
time you speak, it's another merch commercial.
Yeah.
Hey, don't. We gotta land this plane, man. I gotta get back up to North Jersey.
Okay,
I
bye.
love you
We have to
guys,
get
though.
back into the
Thanks,
central.
everyone.
Okay.
It's like.